What if I told you most people fail in calisthenics not because they lack strength but because they are training without structure? Most beginners jump from exercise to exercise, copy random workouts online, and they hope something works. My name is Tenikman on Instagram. I started calisthenics like most people, confused, overwhelmed, and following advice without understanding the logic behind it. Over time, by studying fundamentals, testing progression, and structuring my training properly, I understood why most people quit and what's actually make progress predictable. The truth is simple. It's not about genetics, it's not about talent, it's about structure, progression, and consistency. So in this complete guide, I will explain how calisthenics really works, how skills are built, and how you can organize your training from zero to advanced. So let's start from the beginning with the complete guide that covers everything. So firstly, we will see what calisthenics really is, how skills are organized, the technical language you need to understand, how to build a strong foundation, the equipment you actually need, how to learn skills correctly, how progression really works, how to choose the right exercises, and finally how to structure your own training program. So now that you understand why structure matters, let's start with the basics and define what calisthenics really is. Before talking about training, we need clarity. Calisthenics is often confused with street workout, freestyle, or weighted training. So let's define things properly. Street workout is the main global discipline, and inside it we have street lifting, set and reps, and calisthenics. So firstly, street lifting. This focused on maximal strength. You perform movement like muscle ups, dips, and pull-ups with extra weight. It's usually for one heavy repetition. Then comes set and reps. Set and reps, it's same movement like street lifting, so you do muscle ups, pull-ups, dips, and push-ups, but the goal is different. Here the goal is a maximal repetition, so this focused on endurance strength. And finally, calisthenics, which is the focus of this guide. Calisthenics come from Greek words mean beauty and strength, so the beauty of the strength. It's not just about moving your body weight, it's about control, balance, positioning, and tension. Inside calisthenics we have three branches. Firstly, we have static skills like Maltese, planche, front lever, one arm front lever, and handstand variations. After that we have dynamic skills like planche push-up, handstand push-up, and front lever pull-up. And finally, freestyle, which is 360, 540, 720, and more. Now that we know what calisthenics really is, let's see how skills are organized. Each calisthenics skill belongs to a family. Once you understand this, the sport becomes much easier. So firstly, we have push skills like push-up, planche, and handstand push-up, and more. The most advanced push skill is the planche, where the body stays horizontal like what you see with a straight arm. Planche progression follows a clear order. We all begin with the tuck, so after that we move to the straddle. From the straddle we go to the half or maybe to the planche direct. After that we have pull skills like muscle ups, front lever, V-sit, mana, and reverse planche. The reverse planche is the hardest pull skill because it demands maximal shoulder technique and also a total body control. So now, before moving to the next family, we have hybrid skills that require both pushing and pulling at the same time, such as human flag, for example, iron cross, Maltese, or Victorian. After that come the balance skills. They are mostly handstand variation, like we all begin with the two-arm handstand, what we see here. After that we can make variation like hollow body, and finally we have the one-arm handstand. The last family of skills, it's the freestyle. Like what we say, we have 360, 540, and 720, and more. Freestyle rely more on coordination and the timing of the body. So knowing which family a skill belongs, it helps you train it correctly. Now skills are clear, we need to understand the language of calisthenics. Yes, calisthenics has its own language. If you don't understand it, you will not progress. It's like reading a workout written in hieroglyphs. So let's start with leg progression. When we start to learn a skill like the planche or the front lever, we all begin with the tuck and the advance. They are the easiest leg progression. Then comes the straddle, full, half, and They are the hardest of the leg progression. After that we have the grip types. In calisthenics we have a lot of grip types, but I put you the four useful grip types in calisthenics. So firstly we have the pronated grip. Pronated when you grip the bar like this. We have supinated when you make chin-ups, for example. And lastly we have neutral and false grip. Neutral, it's like when you grip the dips bar, for example, to make dips, or simply when you make handstand with the parallettes. And finally the false grip. The false grip, we usually use it when we make wide front lever, for example. So each grip changes your leverage and your muscle involvement. Now that we know the grip types, let's move to the important point, the 3 muscle contraction. So pay attention with me in this point because it's really important, and if you understand it, you will progress very fast in calisthenics. Firstly we have concentric. Concentric is lifting. So when you do pull up, for example, when you pull, that's concentric. When you push, that's concentric. So when you hold, we say isometric. Isometric is holding. So when, for example, you hold skill like planche, front lever, or just you hold a pull-up bar, that's it's isometric. And finally we have eccentric. Eccentric is control lowering. So when you come back from when you pull, that's concentric, and when you come back, that's eccentric. So eccentric is coming down. So also when you push, that's concentric, and when you come down, that's eccentric. I will give you an example to be clear in your mind. For example, when you do a planche, when you do the planche, when you push from the 90 degree to the planche, that's concentric. So when you hold, that's isometric, and when you come down back to the 90 degree, that's eccentric. So calisthenics skills rely heavily on isometric and eccentric. We can use also control degradation. When I say control degradation, it means, for example, if you're learning the planche and you do the straddle, when you can't hold more in the straddle, you should not to give up. You should to come down from the straddle to the advanced, and from the advanced to the tug. That's what I mean control degradation. It's very useful, so but just use it intentionally. Now vocabulary is clear, let's talk about foundation. This is where most people make mistakes. They chase advanced skills like the planche, front lever without a base strength. So before moving to learn skills or to chase advanced skills, you should to have, or you should to focus on your strengths. For example, you need at least from 30 to 50 push-ups, 15 to 30 dips, 10 to 15 pull-ups, and some basic core control. I know this phase it's not exciting, but let's be honest, it's very essential. It prepares your joints, your tendons, and your nervous system. And here progress is very simple. You can add reps, sets, or time. When I say you can add reps, for example, if you can do 30 push-ups, you can move to 50 push-ups, and when you can do for example 3 sets of 30 push-ups, you can add more sets, so you can make 30 push-ups of 5 sets. And time, if you can hold, for example, a hollow body for 10 seconds, you can move to 15 or even 30 seconds. And trust me, just after 4 weeks, so 1 month, your body is ready for a structured workout skill. With a solid foundation in place, let's talk about equipment. Calisthenics doesn't require much equipment. At the beginning you need at least a pull and a dips bar, it's all. And with time you can evolve with a static bar, a parallettes, or even a rings. But let's be honest, there is a useful addition like the resistance band, the chalk, or a wrist support. Why, we will see the next slide. So now equipment is no longer and no excuses. Let's see how skills are actually learned. Just a little precision. What you don't need in calisthenics are expensive machine or complex setups. Your body is your main tool in calisthenics. Now Learning a skill follows a clear process, and for that we have 7 rules. Firstly, the assess level. Assess level, when you begin to learn a new skill, for example the planche, you should to say for yourself where I am today, what is my current level. For example, when you begin the planche, it mostly for all athletes, it's the tuck, so that's your assess level. Nextly, we have the technique. For each skill, you need to understand the technique demands. For example, if you learn the planche, you should to understand that the planche requires the protraction, so that's the technique. And last point, like what I say, we have a useful addition in the equipments like resistance bands, and for this point resistance bands is very useful. Why? Because in the beginning, when you learn a skill like the planche, the front lever, you don't have the technique and the strength in the same time. So resistance bands or assistant bands help you to focus more on the technique, and you can perform and progress very fast. Fourth, we have the progression pathway. So you should to choose your progression pathway. For example, if you need to achieve the planche, you should to say for yourself, I should to go from here, I should to do these exercises to achieve my planche. That is progression pathway. Fifth, you should to increase your hold time before the difficulty of the skill. For example, if you know how to do advanced skills, it's more better to hold the advanced skill for 20 seconds than to make 1 second of a straddle planche. So that's what I say, increasing hold time is more better than the difficulty. 6, and the logic point, you should to learn the skill from 3 to 4 times per week. It's logic. And finally, the loads periodically. Skill progress is slow but predictable if structured. So let me give you a real example. When I started training press handstand, front lever and 90 degree, I had strengths but a poor technique. So I used momentum, bad positioning, wasting energy and time. Just after learning technique, alignment, body tension and control, the same skills becomes more cleaner and more easier. So strength doesn't matter a lot, but technique does. Once technique is correct, next step is progression. Progress overload exists in calisthenics, just in a different way. In calisthenics, you progress through leverage changes, variation changes, volume adjustment or intensity control. For example, in the planche, when you go from the tuck to the advance, your hips is open slightly, your leverage increases. And when you go from the planche to the straddle, your legs open, your lever becomes longer and your shoulders demand increases. So the movement stay the same, you do a planche, but the difficulty changes, and that's what we say progress overload. So your body adapts in cycles. The loads are not weaknesses, but they are part of progress. Now progression is clear, let's choose the right exercises. Yes, in calisthenics not all exercises are equal for your main goal. For example, your training should be structured from 60 to 70% highly specific to your main goal, from 20 to 30% as supportive exercises, and the third point, it should be a minimal general work. So in calisthenics, much exercises doesn't mean better results, but better selection mean a better results. Now exercises are selected correctly, we can build a simple program. At this point you will understand how calisthenics training should be structured. So let me show you a simple and effective program. Each session is built around 4 phases. Firstly, we have warm-up. It's logic. You should to warm up from 5 to 10 minutes in each session to prepare your joints, your tendons and your nervous system, and also to reduce your injury risk. After that we have the main skill. Like what I told you, it should be from 60 to 70% of your session. Here from 15 to 20 minutes you should to focus on one primary goal or one primary skill. You should to have low reps but a maximal quality and recovery between sets. After that, we have the support work like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, and some basic core control. It should be from 20 to 25 minutes, and here is where really strengths built and weaknesses corrected. And finally, like what we start with a warm-up, we should to finish in cool down. So stretching, mobility, or bracing just to calm the nervous system. So this program designed for 3 sessions per week, a pull day, a push day, and a full body day. So if you want this exact program, I left a link in the caption. Now that you have structure and program, let's finish with the last point and the most important point in calisthenics, the mindset. Let's be honest, calisthenics, it's not magic. It's applied mechanics, discipline, and time. So if you follow your structure, progress is inevitable. So stay consistency, train intelligently, and respect the process.